To win the game of life and get ahead of 99% of people, you must use the system that I've used to not only change my own life, but also many other people's lives. If this video does not change your entire perspective on life, then call me a fraud in the comments and leave a dislike, because I guarantee you, watch this video, everything will change. So it all begins with understanding the 4 realms of existence. So you have the lowest realm, which is the physical, and the mental realm, the emotional realm, and the spiritual realm. I'll explain all of these in depth and their relation to each other. But I'm going to be using Super Mario Brothers to explain all this to you, because I'm sure you've played Mario before. Maybe not this specific game, but other games, right? You start at the beginning, then you go to say Princess Peach, and you get a kiss at the end, okay? So World 1-1 is the physical plane. This is the plane that most of you guys are stuck on because of how you've been brainwashed. Whether you listen to alpha males on YouTube, I don't want to be a grifter that just makes, just talks bad about other people on YouTube, but say that, like the Bill Gates type who just makes money, the guy who just has supercars or whatever, the red pill pickup artist who just has women, the gym bro who just works on their physique. It's a picture of me, by the way. So don't think I'm saying that these things are necessarily bad. Well, I guess in some cases they could be. But my point is, this is the lowest realm of existence, okay? What you've been setting your sights on this entire time is not only the lowest realm of existence, but also very easy to achieve once you understand the higher realms of existence, okay? So you have to understand that all is mind. Everything around you is just a reflection of what you think in your own head. So, for example, let's say you look at your room. If it's super cluttered, that means you have a super cluttered mind, which can be a good or bad thing because, some people make art out of chaos. But if your room is super organized and you have a super organized mind, you understand? So that's an example for you right now. All is mind, okay? Whether you have wife, no wife, that's a result of the mind. No car, result of mind. Money, no money, etc. Goes on and on and on. You can have whatever you want once you understand the higher realms. Okay, when I say higher, I don't mean they're necessarily better. Because the physical plane isn't necessarily bad, right? I'm not going to come here and tell you, money is bad, cars are bad, having a wife is bad. No, I'm not a retard. Okay, I'm not one of these losers on YouTube. But it's lower in terms of chronological order, okay? Everyone thinks about it wrong. They always go, if they ever think of anything beyond the physical, they think it goes like this. Like, oh, well, first I get a car. And then, I start thinking I'm happy. Then I feel happy. And then, I win the game. I get to the end. And I get a kiss from Peach. No. That's not how it works at all. It's actually the other way around. To win, you have to understand the higher realms. And then it gets down to the physical. Then you get money. Then you get cars. Then you get whatever you want. All right? Nothing's inherently bad, And by the way, if you're worried about, money might be bad for me, what if I turn evil? This will also prevent that as well. So we're going to go over how to get out of the physical realm, okay? Because getting out of the physical realm is really just about not being a complete degenerate, okay? So, for example, this, you know what that is. That's how messed up our brains are. We look at those two colors together and we know what it is, right? That's how damn bad we are. Even me who's quit, I still remember, right? So, obviously you have to quit this, bro, because this infects your mind, right? The second realm is the mental realm, right? That's thinking. You need to be able to think in order to move forward, all right? If you can't think, can't move up. This stuff, I don't want to use the word because I might get the video flagged or whatever. It's going to keep you down because your brain's going to get foggy. Same thing with weed. Oh, well, according to the study, weed's actually good for you because weed does this and does that. When you're high, are you anything more than a retard? Like when you're high, pizza, Mario Kart. And that's the best day ever, right? But you can say in physical. Beer, alcohol, same thing as weed basically. TikTok. That's most people's lives. I've literally been around people and that's basically the most fun they've ever had. And you go on TikTok, see something funny, they show it to their friend. Materialism. Now again, like I said, these material things that I've spoken about thus far aren't inherently bad, but when that's all you have, that essentially is your God, then it's bad. Because now you're going to sell your morals. You're going to be a terrible person just for the sake of getting that next paycheck. You're going to be a terrible person just for the sake of getting that girl, a car, the physique, etc. Most of the money, though, because, who does bad things only to get a good physique, right? Or maybe you go on steroids because, actually, yes, you could end up being a steroid user because you're dumb. So what you have to do is detox the brain. And I'm not talking, I guess this is dopamine detox, but I'm not going to make a whole video. Maybe I will in the future. If people want it, I'll do it. But think about it like you have two things going on here. You have your thoughts, which the new thoughts you want to generate, and the pipes, which is your current system in your brain, okay? When you pour your thoughts through the pipe, it's going to be all dirty, right? Because you have dirty thoughts, dirty pipes. But what we're doing now is we're cleaning the pipes, okay? We're cleaning all of this stuff, right? That's what this detox is. You need to do that because the next step is going to be cleaning the water, your thoughts, that you're putting through the pipes. Why would you put clean water through dirty pipes? There's something very important you have to understand. All of these realms work in synergy. You can't be stuck in one realm, which will be a very important lesson I'll teach you later. But right now, this is cleaning your pipes. Stop jerking off on those websites. Stop going on TikTok and scrolling for 5 hours. Stop being like, I need money. Because not only is that over-attachment to money, which will bring you down stuck in the physical realm, it also leads you not getting any money, bro. Which I'll explain to you later as well. So now we're going to the mental realm, all right? Very important. This is what you can also call the masculine realm. All right. And I'll explain to you the relationship between the masculine and feminine realm, because that's very important. Again, you've probably been lied to about that as well. But there's a very shocking danger about this mental realm. If you get stuck here, and you're not even a high-level thinker, you're like a low-level thinker, like, imagine it's a game, right? You have level 1 to level 200. By the way, this realm is like you're 4-2, like, you're not terrible at the game, right? The physical, if you're stuck in the physical, you're 1-1, you're trash. But at 4-2, you get to the mental realm, and you're doing a bit better, right? But imagine it's like level 1, 2 to 200, thinking, it's like a skill, an attribute, and you get to like 10 points, and you're like, I understand the whole entire world. And then you just start talking like a moron. I mean, these are like the destiny types, the atheist types. Well, do you have empirical evidence in the study? Okay. That actually gets you stuck in the physical realm because empirical studies are purely physical because they're studying physical objects. You're stuck in the physical, right? So do not get stuck there. You need to think beyond those people and have synergy between the realms. So let's get how to actually move up into the mental realm is by logic, philosophy, basically the same thing, but you can understand it. From your perspective, it seems like two different things, and visualization, very important. Okay, I'm going to go over all three of these things in very clear detail. So remember, you're trying to clean the water, okay? And not only trying to clean the water, we're also trying to clean the rust off the pipes, because you can pressure wash the pipes, right? But there's still going to be rust on it. You need something like WD-40, then you could scrub the rust off, and you have truly clean pipes, okay? So let's go over some logic, all right? The sky is blue because the sky is blue. Does that make any sense to you? If it does, you have an issue. Because this is what is called circular reasoning, right? You just ended where you began. If you hear women talk about anything, you hear that all the time. It's a logical fallacy. So right now I'm teaching you what fallacies are. These are errors in your thinking. If you can eliminate fallacies, you'll have more logical thinking, which lead to better results, assuming you have synergy in the realms. So let's say next, the book is good because Stacy said so. First of all, Stacy is a girl, so who cares? But also, just because someone said a book is good doesn't mean it's automatically good, does it? That's called a fallacious appeal to authority. Now, there's time and place for appeals to authority. There's even time and place for circular reasoning at the metalogic level, which we're not going to talk about that because I don't have 5 hours here to talk to you. And also, it could be used as a rhetorical tactic, but in general, these are fallacious type arguments. There's a bunch of other ones, right? But or an ad hominem. Like someone makes an argument together and say, oh, well, you're just a poopy head. That's fallacious. That's ad hominem. You didn't actually attack the argument. There's a bunch of stuff like that, right? So you look up just drop my pen. You literally look up a list on Google, look up fallacies, and just read them. And you realize, whoa, I'm actually really dumb because I've been using these to reason my whole entire life. Right? And you got to change that. Now, as far as philosophy, let's just put a P, philosophy. It's asking very deep questions, like, why do I exist? Does God exist? Why is robbery wrong? Right? These are the questions that dig deep. And the reason why I told you about fallacies before this is because you might say, does God exist? Well, my mom told me God exists, so yeah. Really, bro? Fallacious authority. Why is robbery wrong? Again, you might say something like, well, because it makes people feel bad. That's an emotional appeal. You need an actual, what's called an epistemic foundation, right? The foundation, the actual grounding for why it's right or wrong, right? These are the type of things you have to think about in order to be a high-level thinker. When you become a high-level thinker, you're going to master the mental realm, assuming you're also doing this, visualizing, which is the first step to seeing higher worlds, okay? You may be wondering, what the hell is a higher world? What are you talking about? You're losing it. I'm going to explain it to you. So I believe in a doctrine called Molinism, which basically says God, more specifically the Father, because Father sustains. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, by the way. Father sustains the universe. There's a bunch of different distinct possible realities. There's a possible reality where you're really happy. Possible reality where you're really sad. There's a possible reality where you have a bunch of money. There's a possible reality where you're broke. Right? There's all of these different things. Now, because God knows everything, God has what's called middle knowledge, which is the knowledge of possibilities. So, what you want in life, this is very important, listen. What you want in life, whatever it is, you name it, think about something you want that you don't have right now. That exists. Because God knows about it. How can God know about something that doesn't exist? It exists as an abstract, okay? And you have been given the free will, the decision to actualize it, to go into that world, right? It's completely up to you. Whether you're broke or not, it's not God's fault. That's you, because you decided to do so. And it's very important. The realm, remember I said it goes up to down. And the spiritual realm is different from all the other realms because that's the realm you can't really occupy because you're not made of the same substance, so to speak, as angels or saints or God, right? So, you have to understand is that the thought and the feeling are what determines which reality you decide to actualize. Okay? And the thought and the feeling, think about it like, you know how radios, or, TV channels are probably a better example because who the hell uses radios, right? TV channels, okay? Let's say there's channel 1, channel 2, let's do this here. Channel 2, channel 3, like all these different channels you can tune into, right? And think of thought and feeling like the controller. So if you're thinking and feeling, oh yeah, I'm happy, you are changing the TV channel to this. So now you're going to be happy. But if you're thinking, feeling, oh, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that, I suck, you're going to tune into the loser channel. You understand? This is how it works. Okay, let me go back to this hierarchy thing. And these two directly cause this. You understand? And I already explained how this correlates to your mind, because if your room is cluttered, that means you have a cluttered mind. If your room is very organized, you have a very organized mind. You understand? This is the principle I'm telling you about. Everyone does it the wrong way because they think, well, yeah, okay, that's true. That makes sense. Cluttered mind, cluttered room. But, it's not the same with money. If I have a broke mind, that doesn't mean I'm going to be broke. First of all, think about how stupid that sounds, okay? Doesn't it make more sense that everything's the same at the fundamental level? Because remember, at the end of the day, the knowledge and sustenance of the universe is contained in God. So there's no real difference between you having money and not having money. The only difference lies up here. You understand? It's here. The reason why you don't have what you want now is because you haven't been having the thoughts and feelings of someone who has it, so you haven't changed the channel. And that's really all it is, it's just changing a channel. But the thing is, because we have a human nature that's finite and limited, it's hard for us to do this. It's hard for us to believe in the unseen. So remember when Jesus came back from the dead. I'm talking a lot about the Trinity later, but first I have to explain all this stuff. But this is an example here. If you remember, Jesus came back, and then Thomas doubted. Thomas was like, no, I won't believe until I put the finger into the holes in which he was crucified, because he was nailed. And Jesus came and said, go ahead. Thomas put his finger in, and then he believed. And then Jesus said, blessed is the one who believes without seeing. So it's really about faith. Okay, this can just be summed up in faith. Okay? It's about faith. It's about believing in the unseen. So when you believe, you receive. You understand? That's why Jesus said in this prayer, when you pray, and actually, I guess I'll go back to skip ahead a little bit. Whoever says to this mountain, be taken, in Mark 11:23-24, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes what he says will come to pass, it will be done for him. You understand? It's about belief. It's about faith. That's really the core of everything. You understand? So, you understand. But how do you actually believe? Because that's the real question. Because I know it's easy to say, oh, just believe, bro. Yeah, I know. I've heard that before. And then it's like, well, how do I believe? I'm going to tell you how to believe. So first you have to understand this. What you want already exists. And then to attain the higher world in terms of, from your perspective, like obviously the world where you're broke, the world where you're, I don't know, where you have money, one's higher than the other from your perspective, right? One thing you have to do is be able to visualize, be able to see things. No one visualizes it. Remember all the TikTok, the explicit content, all this stuff? That stuff directly inhibits your ability to visualize. To visualize, you have to practice. Okay, so like, do this exercise with me. I see SpongeBob. Okay, do this in your mind. SpongeBob. My drawing sucks, but it doesn't matter. SpongeBob. Okay, you see the square, see the eyes, the pupils, the blueness of the pupils, the eyelashes, the holes. Okay? All right, that's not there. Holes, the mouth. Like, really think about it. See it in your mind. Make the picture, right? Legs, whatever. I'm going to make it faster because I don't want to be here talking 5 minutes about visualizing SpongeBob, although this is very important. Then he sees at the Krusty Krab with the stove, and then the window, and the ketchup, mustard, etc., the door. See Squidward in the window, the wall, the ceiling, etc., the floor. Now you see things. Now feel things. What does SpongeBob feel like? What does the stove feel like? Would it burn you? Imagine pumping the mustard thing, right? Imagine grabbing Squidward's nose. Imagine tasting. What does SpongeBob taste like? What would happen if you lick the floor, lick the wall? You're engaging all the senses. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? Hear SpongeBob laughing. You're engaging all your senses. And then, turn it to 3D. This is a 2D image right now. Turn it to 3D. So now you're changing your perspective. Oh, there's a side of SpongeBob. Oh, I didn't see that before. I could see a window now. I couldn't see that when I was looking from there. You see all these new things. And I know that's very hard at the start. Like, you could probably only see like an eyelash. Like, oh, you're trying really hard. But you develop the skill slowly, right? Now, what's the point of this? The point is, this is how you gain the knowledge of higher worlds. Because let's say, when you're broke, this is where you are right now. That's all you see. So it gets reaffirmed. It's a what's it called? It reaffirms the belief. If you think you're broke and you go to your bank account and see $2, you're going to keep thinking you're broke. But let's say you're able to see the bank account where you have money. Whatever amount you want. I don't know how much you want. You see them, you can see it. You can see the bank statement. That is attaining knowledge of that world. Because remember, it exists. You can see it. So now you're going to get the thought of it and then charge it with feeling. So think of your thought like water, and then you're feeling like fire. Because when we say someone has passion, he loves what he does. He has passion. We're talking about fire. He's got the competitive spirit, the competitive fire, right? You have the water, which is like a thought. You boil it. And what happens when you boil water? Steam comes, vapor. That leads to action. Not just any action, inspired action. I'm going to explain that more later, but that's really the whole template right there, right? So the masculine and feminine. The thinking, the visualizing, is masculine. Okay, because that is logic, basically. Logic, thinking. Men think, right? Men are thinkers. Now, but the woman's side is more like creativity. Nurturing, right? I'm here to tell you, you have both parts in your brain, so you have to use them. Now, obviously, you have to balance them, so you can't just be, you can't be one-to-one. That's what a lot of people make the mistake of. You're a man, supposed to act masculine, right? So think about it like a ratio, like 5-to-1, 10-to-1, I don't know. All right, something like that, a ratio, where you're more masculine than feminine. Assuming you're a guy watching this. I mean, I know some girls will click on this because, oh my God, that guy's so hot. But, you know, if I'm assuming you're a guy, you need to combine the logic, the thinking, the mental, with the feeling, which is feminine. You need to marry these two parts of the brain. You're marrying the man and woman inside of you, marriage. And then from there, a baby comes out of love, which is your desired reality. So we're going to get more into this feminine realm. We're just going to leave it at that. The emotional realm, okay? So I'm going to give you a thought experiment, okay? Let's say you have a world where you have a Lambo, but you don't feel like you have a Lambo. I'll say the world where you don't have a Lambo, but you feel like you have a Lambo. Do you understand? One, you feel like you have a Lambo. The other one, you don't feel like you have a Lambo, right? Which one is better? Everyone will have asked, right? They say, oh, I'd rather be in a world where I feel like I have a Lambo, because what's the point of having a Lambo if you don't feel like you have it? It's kind of self-defeating, right? This illustrates that feeling is everything. Feeling is the real secret. So, in reality, women exist in a higher realm than men, naturally, because they feel. Feeling is the highest one. But the thing is, they don't really have anything going for them in the mental and physical, so they have no synergy. For men, it's much easier to get synergy. But as far as the single feeling realm, women are naturally better, right? And I think it's basically impossible for a man to get to the women's level that the woman's naturally at, because that's just the female nature. That's how they were made, right? So this is the highest realm. And the marriage leads to being able to see higher worlds, because once you understand feeling, I'm going to explain to you how to really illustrate this. Think of puppies. Think of really cute puppies. Puppies. Happy puppies, you know, you're playing with the puppies. Now you're smiling. Now you're happy. Now you feel happy, right? That's one way to get out of a rut, by the way. You just feel happy. Like, it's literally that easy. You feel happy like that. Puppies. So you realize the correlation, because puppies are a thought, right? So you realize the correlation between the two. The feeling is like fire. That's energy. Hit what spots. Now, let's do feeling. Feel the puppies. See the puppies. Happy puppies. Puppies, right? Unless you're sadists, you know, you're going to be happy right now. Now, stop thinking about puppies. Keep the feeling, because you realize how they're separate, right? Thought, feeling are separate. Take the thought and swap it with something you want. So, for example, money. Making money. I'm making. What you've just done is boil water, creating vapor. And to really illustrate how powerful this is, and I'm using money and all these material examples because it's really easy for you to understand. In reality, you should be doing this with more high-level stuff. But just for you to get the point, right? Do this with, let's say you're going to do a project, okay? Get the feeling going. Are you happy? You can even watch videos to help get you feeling. I think, oh, I'm going to ace this project. This project is so easy. I'm going to do this project. And when you're going to realize this, you're like, whoa, I feel like doing the project now. I'm motivated. Let's go. I want to do this. Then you start taking inspired action. There's a big difference between inspired and forced action. Okay? When you do inspired action, you feel like doing it, and it's easy. You use your subconscious mind. You use the most powerful part of your brain, 95% of your brain, to get it done. With the forced, it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, but I guess I'm going to do it. You're going to make crap work. Okay? Now, this goes to prayer, because the truth is, and by the way, I'm not an alchemist. I'm not a Gnostic. I'm not any of these things. Okay? But I'm using these as allegorical examples to help you understand how things work. Okay? And I had to clarify that because I know some questions like, this guy is a heretic. No, believe me, I'm not a heretic. Okay? But as far as prayer goes, right? You're praying 24/7. And to illustrate this, Jesus says, forgive others, right? And by the way, being a good person improves your aura, which improves the strength of your feelings and thoughts. Okay, I'm going to have another video explaining that because I can't be here sitting for 5 hours, but it's very important. Be a good person, okay? I'm not saying be degenerate. Don't use this for degeneracy, okay? Because, as I'll explain, that defeats the purpose of doing all this stuff. But you're praying 24/7. Just like when he said, when you're told to forgive people, you can't just say, oh, yeah, I forgive them. No. You have to feel like you forgive them. Yeah, I forgive that guy. Yeah. I'm laughing with him in my head, and that's what I see in my brain right now. I'm laughing with that guy I forgive. Yeah. I forgive. That's true forgiving. True prayer is exactly this, and 24/7 you're thinking and feeling. So what I'm telling you to do is take control of the thinking. Take control of the feeling. Change your beliefs, go through the core belief, and then you can start applying what Jesus said himself. He said to them, because of your little faith, for truly, he's talking about something else, for truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. In the other verse, we already read that, right? Believe that you've received it. And this is another very important thing. Yes, I'll explain this very explicitly. Even if you're broke right now, let's say you're broke, you're going to use this to believe, not that you will be, never say will, because will never comes. Never say will. Say, I am. What is one of God's names? I am. Okay? I'm not using this in a Neville Goddard way and saying that you are God. No, it's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, the reason why that's one of God's names is because I am is very significant. Okay? God isn't I will. Like, oh, in the future. No. I am. Right now. When you think and feel, believing is this. Jesus tells you what believing is right here. He defines believing. It's really believe that you received it. You know what that means? Present. That's all that matters. Present tense. When you're thinking about, oh, well, I'm not making money, I'm doing this. No. I am making money. Feel. Think. Vapor. Then you take inspired action. Then you get what you want. That is how this works. Okay? There's a potential danger here. Potential danger in the feeling realm. And you see this in women. If you are too hypercharged in feeling, okay, and you aren't checking it with thoughts, say this balance is completely destroyed, you're going to basically just being a woman, okay? Kind of going to be all over the place, and yeah, you'll be good at certain things. You'll be really nurturing and understanding of others, but then you won't be able to have any masculine force to go do things. Okay, you're having a marriage, okay? And to expand on this a little bit, your conscious mind is masculine. This is a very logic-oriented spot, right? Then your subconscious is, let's say M is feminine, right? Now, a good example of this is look at your dreams. Do your dreams make any sense? No. It's because dreams aren't logical. No. They're feminine. They're very emotional. They're very symbolic, okay? Now, we're talking about marrying the mind, right? So our ring there. Great ring drawing. When you marry the mind, what you're doing is taking your conscious, feeling thought, and then you're telling, it's like a baby. Like a baby. You're playing with the baby, like, oh, here's how you play baseball. Boom. Right? You're teaching the baby, feeling thought, and then you take the baby back to the subconscious and you're like, okay, nurture it, change the diaper, feed it, pinch his cheeks, right? You're nurturing the thought in your subconscious. You're impressing the subconscious, right? That's what happens when you go to sleep. You dream, your subconscious is super active. That's marriage of the mind. You're nurturing the thoughts with your subconscious through thought and feeling, because that's what your subconscious mind really makes out. It takes feeling and thoughts, takes the vapor, and that's what it holds, okay? When you learn something, like, you realize how when you learn things you're interested in it, you never remember? Because you didn't feel interested. You didn't have the feeling. You weren't thinking much about it. You weren't combining the feeling and thoughts for your subconscious to remember it. There it is. That's why you don't remember any of your math lessons. That's why you don't remember anything from school. Because you don't really care. For good reason, I would argue, but you don't care. That's why you don't remember. Now, spiritual realm, the highest realm. Now, you may wonder, why am I even going over this? Because I already said that you can't reach this realm in this life, right? But it must be explained, because this is really where all the power lies. At the end of the day, I mean, no one has power. Remember, it says you can't be given anything that's not given above. Your free will that allows you to do all the stuff I just talked about comes from above, right? It's not like you're a god, right? So, heaven, you think of the spiritual realm like heaven. Can't go to heaven yet, right? And the spiritual realm is primarily the real monarch. Well, the sole monarch is the Father, but in a whole, it's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I believe in the Eastern Orthodox Trinity. I'm not going to go over filioque and all those stuff, because it's out of me. That's out of the scope of this video, but the Father is the sole monarch, and then the Son and Spirit are eternally begotten and proceed from the Father. All you have to understand is that it's three persons that share one essence, which makes them God. So you wonder, how is this not three gods, like the Muslims say? It's one essence. The essence is what makes them God. So I'm telling you about the Son. Okay, the Son, I guarantee you've never heard Christianity explained like this. The Muslims ask, how can God be man? How can God die? How do these things work? Alhamdulillah, how God die? No makes sense. Alhamdulillah. Al-Akbar. No. There. God tells you, hey, bro. You got a mission. Right? You got rules to follow. You got this to do. You can be with me. Just be, have faith. All this other stuff. And then everyone responds like, well, this is hard. You don't get me. You're this God in the sky, and I'm just this guy. I got all these bills. I got all this stuff to worry about. Life sucks. You don't get it. And then God was like, oh, yeah? Really? I don't get you? Okay, well, guess what? I'm going to go down to where you are. There's Jesus, right? You know what? I'm telling you to go on the path to change your life where you decide, okay, I'm going to change my life. Your old self dies, and then your new self comes up, the cycle of life. You don't want to do that? Because you don't trust me? All right, guess what? I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go plead. I'm going to go defy the human nature and go, okay, you know what? Higher purpose. Your will be done for the Father, right? That's when Jesus was praying to the Father, pleading, I don't want to go die. I don't want to go do this. I don't even do that, but will be done, right? For the higher purpose. Then, he's whipped, scourged, and he's got crucified. Then he died. And everyone's like, oh, well, that's the end of life. That's it. See? God. That's what happens. That's all human life is. We just suffer. We suffer. And then we die. Why should I follow you? Why should I go through this? This sucks. But then, 3 days later, and the disciples, they were distraught. But 3 days later, he shows up. It's like, all right, look at me. I suffered. I died the most excruciating death in history for you. So you're going to follow me now? And you're like, whoa. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you went through what I go through, but way worse. I guess I have no choice. Then you start going. Then you start moving. And then you kind of slip and you start falling like, oh my God. No, I knew this was a bad idea. And you think you're going to die, but then you're like, whoa, why am I not falling? It feels like you're being held up. And you look up. And it's Jesus saying, I got you. I understand you. Got you. Picks you up, puts you back on your feet so you can keep moving. And it's like, oh. So all of the things I worry about, like death, why should I believe anything? What's the purpose to life? All these human questions that are existential. I could just put it on him. I could put my burdens, the core burdens of my life on Jesus. At the end of the day, maybe things won't work out, but I got him. It's on my team. So, okay, and then you start walking more confidently, and then you start improving your life. You decide to let your old self die, and let your new self come up, which includes suffering. It's hard to let your old self die, because you're a creature of habit. You have a human nature, which is finite. But Jesus overcame it, didn't he? Overcame all the feelings and suffering. You can too. That's why he came, to show you can do it, because he did it. Does that make more sense? And beyond that, you can also think about it like you're going into battle, and your enemy is death, doubt, fear. And you're like, oh, that's hard to, they're so powerful. It's so hard to defeat. The fear, the death. Erase this so you can see. It's so hard to defeat the fear, death, and, the doubt. It's like they got a huge sword. Right? Great sword drawing, right? And we're just some small people. It's like they're a monster. It's like the devil right there. He's a monster. He attacks all the things. He attacks the divorce my parents went through. He attacks the fact that my dad left me. He attacks all of these things. It hurts so much. And then, in Allah, and the Muslim God's just like, okay, yeah, deal with it. Yeah, deal with it, bro. Deal with it. Because Allah doesn't really care at the end of the day. Right? The Muslim's like, oh, that's a powerful God. No. That's like a fat, lazy king going, okay, all my soldiers are going into battle. I'm going to stay here. Engorging himself. What Jesus did, what our God did. Came down and was like, okay, you're all scared? You don't want to fight him? Okay, guess what? I'm going straight at him. Straight for him. And everyone's like, no, you can't do that. How? How can a human be God? And how can a human, what are you doing? And then he dies and gets his head chopped off. And everyone's like, oh my God. And it's like the disciples get destroyed. Like, oh my God, wait, this wasn't actually him. Oh my God, no. And now we have to fight fear, death, and down on our own. We're screwed. Our king is dead. But then he comes, and then you're just scared. And it's like, they just look up and you just see this massive being, which is Jesus, resurrected, come back alive, and gets his foot, and he just squashes all of it, just completely destroys it with no effort, just bomb. Then everyone's like, hooray, we won. That's exactly what happens, because death, doubt, fear, all this other stuff got conquered. He showed you can defeat it through him. That's why you need Jesus. That's all it is. That's why Jesus became man, to defeat death. People, the low-level atheists and Muslims, they can't understand that. Thinking people who can think beyond the physical, beyond the basic stuff, can understand that this was why Jesus came down, had to come down, not only to bear the sins of humanity, our wrongdoings, our iniquities, our depravities, but also to show us, hey, through me, Jesus, You can do it too. That's the whole gospel right there. So that's not a weak hip, because even some Christians do a disservice to Jesus by presenting him as like a hippie liberal. No. Jesus was a king. He was a warrior. He went on the front lines and gave us all hope. Almighty and powerful. Now the Holy Spirit lives in all of us. It lives in all of creation. That's the fire. We talk about your feeling, like, oh, I feel happy. Yeah, that's some fire, but it's not fire like the Holy Spirit. When you decide to accept Jesus, God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, you kindle the Holy Spirit inside of you. You want to talk about aura, fire? That's the ultimate fire. That's the fire of God right there. That's the aura of God. That exists within you. Now, it doesn't make you a God, but you have access to it. You can ask for guidance, get help. Now, you may wonder, why didn't I just start with that? It is true, you can, technically, it's like using a cheat code. You can win just by understanding that part, but you also have to understand that you aren't a robot. The reason why Jesus had to come and show you how it is done was because you have your own decisions to make, right? What would the point of Jesus be coming down if you were a robot that had no control over what you did? It didn't interact with the world, the other like three realms, the physical, the mental, and then the feeling. That's why Jesus had to come down. If you're just some robot who didn't get to choose, that's why Calvinism is wrong. But people who believe that God predestines everything, that all your actions are predetermined and done by God, Jesus' story makes no sense on that view. You have free will. Whatever your reality is up to you. But Jesus came down just to say, hey, all those things that you doubt and worry about, put them on me. And you have free will. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can get money. Just don't be greedy, right? You can eat food. You can have good food. Don't be gluttonous. You can work out. Don't make it your whole life. Don't make it your God. You can do all that, and you can do very well in it. You know what? I'm going to help, assuming you are doing it for the kingdom of God at the end of the day, which is the higher, greater purpose. Okay? And above all, it teaches you, allows you to be detached. Because imagine you don't believe in God. Imagine you don't believe in Jesus. You're just an atheist. You don't believe in anything. And you want to say, okay, I want to make money. If money is your goal, that's your highest thing. And that money's now your God. So guess what? You're going to say now, I need money. I need it. I need it. I need money. I need money. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. Think about anything you own. Think about a computer. Think about the phone you're watching on, or a computer you're watching on, whatever. You don't say, I need my phone, I need my phone, I need my computer. No. Say, oh yeah, I have a computer. Yeah, it's cool. I get to do stuff on it. Thinking, feeling, right? But you're not like, right? When money is your God, you're like, this over your money. Guess what? You are way too attached. And just like a girl, if you're super attached to a girl, and you're like simping, you're going to lose the girl. Same thing with money, bro. If you're super attached to money, you're going to lose it. Assuming you aren't directly working with the devil, which, in a way, that is working with the devil. But I'm talking about more explicitly, like, I can't talk about this stuff on YouTube, but put two and two together, okay? But when you detach and say, okay, the only thing I need is Jesus. Money is cool, cars are cool, having a wife is cool, but I don't need it. I just need Jesus. Doesn't mean I can't have desires. You can have desire. But the only thing I need is Jesus. You shouldn't have needs. The only need you have is Jesus. And you realize when you detach from the desire, that it just comes to you. And life becomes so easy. If you really want this to be super easy, join the Discord, subscribe for other videos, and check out this other video that's on your screen right now. Probably like it.